Welcome to Storytime with Patti, where imagination is our tour bus through reality, and everything in the universe has a story. Come, sit by the fire. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Storytime with Patti. Today's show, The Fragile Comfort of Conspiracy, is a topic that I've been thinking about for a while. I'm going to dive right in. And by the way, if you are enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Much appreciated. So, the fragile comfort of conspiracy. So, for those folks out there who are conspiracy theorists, you might be thinking, why fragile? Nothing fragile about me. Well, I'm going to begin by talking about the nature of reality and how we understand reality. And conspiracy is really very much associated with reality and our take on reality and our beliefs about reality. It's a alternative view of our reality. So we have this reality that we live in, and it is fed to us and presented to us by authorities. And you can imagine, like if you can imagine this frame, like a picture frame, and everything that is inside it is our reality canon, meaning that it is the reality that comes to us from reliable sources. All right, what are those sources? Those are our history books. Those are sciences. Those are our religious leaders. So I'm calling this our reality canon, a collection of information and knowledge that we have that we base our sense of reality on. Like, who are humans? How long have they been on the planet? What is our body? What is our history? What are the sciences of Earth? What's the science of space? And what are all those sciences telling us about our reality? So we have this canon, and we have this experience, this growing experience of people who are becoming uneasy with the reality as it has been explained to us. For instance, people who question how long humans have been on the planet. You know, how old are the pyramids really? And then there are archaeological finds that show that there is something wrong with the reality canon's timeline, and yet that is what we are taught. That is the official education. So that is what you are taught in school. You are not taught alternative perspectives on reality. You are taught straight from the canon, whether it's the canon that has to do with science, the canon that has to do with history, the canon that has to do with literature, or religion. You are taught straight from that canon. But people have become uneasy with the canon. More and more people are just not quite feeling right with what we have been taught about our history, what science has taught us, even what we have been taught about our own bodies and how our bodies function. Something as simple as, how could it be that we only use 10% of our brain? How could it be that 80% of our DNA is junk DNA? How is that even possible? Also, the kinds of things that go on, like, why is there war? Why did the war start? What is the reason behind that event? What really went on? And people start taking a closer look and saying, but what we're being told in the news and in the media and so forth doesn't make any sense. So enter conspiracy theorists. You know, so conspiracy theorists offer an alternative take on our current reality. Now, there are a lot of people who will not want to question the reality canon because literally their mental health is connected to it. And it's kind of like playing Jenga. You pull enough of those little blocks out of the Jenga stack of their reality canon, it all tumbles down, and so does their mental state. So there are people who are very concerned about having psychological breakdowns if enough of their reality is questioned. And people on the conspiracy side tend to call these people, sheep, normies, sheeple, whatever, asleep. I have a lot of empathy for people who are very committed to and attached to the reality canon that we've been given, because I understand that to begin to question our reality, it can be really frightening. And we're living in a time when so many aspects of our reality are really kind of crumbling. That frame that I was talking about, it's getting a little wobbly. And people are starting to see it, and some people for the very first time. And it's very disconcerting for so many people. But let's talk about the conspiracy theorists. So the conspiracy theorists come in and then they have alternate explanations for the things that people are finding don't make any sense about our reality. Like what is going on and what we're being told and what we're sensing, it just doesn't jive. It's not making any sense. So then, and that causes a great deal of anxiety for people. So enter conspiracy theorists, and conspiracy theorists come out, and I have a whole list, right? I'm not going to get into the details. I'm just going to kind of list them all. So you've got conspiracy about JFK murder, how wars start, false flag events, going way back. And so there are some folks who have identified false flag events at the beginning of almost every war. That is a really big conspiracy theory. All of the conspiracy theories about 9/11, why it just didn't make any sense. Just like the Warren Commission after JFK's murder, talking about the magic bullet, there was so much about that didn't make any sense. So again, the 9/11 Commission coming up with their explanations, not talking about Building 7, it really caused a lot of people to look more closely at 9/11. 9/11 was a really big watershed event because people either thoroughly questioned it and said there's something really wrong with this situation, and then you have people who are like, don't even talk about it, because that one event, for many people, if the reality canon around that event is in any way compromised or untrue, then it is pulling the rug out from a reality that they are very attached to. And it is terrifying. So, and then you have, the conspiracy theories about reptilians and how there are people on this earth and people in great power that are reptilians, and they line it up with blood types. And if you have negative blood type or positive blood type, whatever, they line it up with that. This is connected to the Rothschilds and all the conspiracy theories related to the Rothschilds. We are talking about Bohemian Grove, how the power elites get together at this place. They do black magic. There are those conspiracies. There's the conspiracy about strawmen. And we all have strawmen. The United States is a corporation, not a government. We've got conspiracy theories about 5G, and even 5G being connected to the virus, and how maybe it's really 5G. We've got all kinds of things about the cabal, and of course we have conspiracy theories that have to do with satanic elitists, calling certain elitists satanic. And of course we have all kinds of conspiracies about aliens being on the planet and being part of what is or who is running this planet. So I could go on, but that gives you kind of a sense. And many people who kind of jump on board the conspiracy theories are very passionate about it. And they believe they know the nature of the reality of our world and of our universe. The reason why I think it is such a fragile comfort for them, it is just as foundational to them, their belief systems, their mental health, as the reality canon to others. I believe that there is a kernel of truth in everything. The stuff in the reality canon, the stuff in the conspiracy canon. I wouldn't necessarily have my understanding of our reality totally based on it, on any of it, because I think it's more complex. And this is why. So you have this framework, right? The reality canon. that all of the authorities have kind of put their information in. You have people becoming uncomfortable with this this framework, and then you have people choosing another framework for their take on how our reality is constructed and what's really going on earth and what's really happening here in our lives. Makes them more comfortable, but it is not permanent, because reality is trillions of times bigger than this, and therefore trillions of times bigger than even the conspiracy theory. Especially in this time when our reality is literally morphing and changing, and in some aspects crumbling down around us, it's important to stay as flexible in our beliefs about our reality as possible. If we think we have arrived at a truth, whether it's in the reality canon or outside the reality canon, it's important for us to know that that truth may be malleable. Everything is changing. And to the extent that we hold on to whatever our beliefs are, if we hold on to them tightly, then we will get hurt in the current. I see it as, let's say you've got a boat, and you have anchored it into a place. This is the place, this is my reality. And the current is coming and it's becoming stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. You either need to pull up your anchor so you can go with the current, or destroy your boat. Do we have the courage to keep our beliefs and our sense of truth as flexible as possible as we move through this rapidly changing time?